This is a video of how to find the inverse of a function. Essentially we x and y switch places, or the independent variable and the dependent variable switch positions, and then resolve for the independent variable. Essentially all that our jargon means. So f of n, so I mean the f function with respect to n, is our y value, and again n could be our x value. And again, I'm just rewriting because students are more familiar with that. Again, most functions will go this way. There's very rare exceptions. So x and y switch places. So it's going to be x equals y minus 1 to the 5th power. All right, so y is trapped, so we have to resolve for y, meaning we have to get y by itself again. Now, so y is trapped inside the parenthesis to the 5th power. So you have to have great command of your inverse knowledge here. So like the inverse of addition is subtraction, or the opposite. The inverse of multiplication is division. The inverse of an exponent or a power is a radical or a root. So to get rid of the 5th power, we take the 5th root of something, which crosses out those 5s. Whatever you do to one side, we got to do the other. So I get the 5th root of x equals, and then all I have left is y minus 1. And then officially to get y by itself, add 1. But make sure that positive 1 stays outside the radical, because that didn't get the 5th root. And then the official answer, you would say, so the original function was f. So to signify inverse, we use f of negative 1 of n equals the 5th root of x plus 1. So we use the negative 1 signifies inverse of that function. So f negative 1 of n is the inverse of f of n. So that's how you find the inverse of that function. You know, since it's a short video, let's do another one. Let me call up another one here. Okay, this one's kind of the opposite of what we just did. So notice how this is the 5th root, or negative 5th root of x plus 2. So remember, this is just f of x, fancy way of saying y, and then how convenient, x is already x. Okay, so like we said, x and y switch places. So x equals negative 5th root of y plus 2. All right, we have to get y by itself again. And whenever we solve an algebra, so everyone's heard of PEMDAS, right? Please excuse my dear Aunt Schwant, that's me. You can, with solving with algebra, so like you're solving, you actually do the inverse of PEMDAS whenever you're trying to get the variable you want by itself. In this case, we want y, and remember PEMDAS will start with parentheses exponents, but actually with solving for y, we want to start with addition and subtraction. So notice how I can subtract 2 to the inverse here. So x minus 2 equals negative 5th root of y. Okay, and then we go to multiplication division. Multiplication division, so we're just going to divide by negative 1 to get rid of that negative. So that's going to be negative x plus 2 equals the 5th root of y. So notice how I distributed the negative. When you divide by negative 1, it changes the signs of the positive x and the negative 2. And then we go to exponents, or roots in this case. So the opposite of 5th root is a 5th power, and we do that to both sides. And so that is going to give me negative x plus 2 to the 5th power equals y. But we're going to write inverse, which is f of negative 1 of x equals negative x plus 2 to the 5th power.